further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Irene. The last thing before I do that is just be sure to put any questions you have. We didn't envision this one being super interactive, so if we don't have any questions, that's okay. But if you do, just use the chat feature in the bottom right to type those in, and we'll let Irene have it.
Well, thank you, Catherine, and hello, and thank you to everyone joining us here for Trash to Treasures. I am actually super excited to share this with you because I feel like this is my background in education. And I actually share a lot of these tips with the families that I work with to also help for like if you have a new baby, you're trying to feed your little one, what do you do? How do you get them set up? And just sometimes like you're trying to make dinner or make lunch or any of that kind of stuff. So my hope is today we're going to take our trash and make them treasures for our toddlers, preschoolers, and even if you have elementary age kids, I think you'll find where maybe you can start using some of these ideas in your home to kind of create some peace, some calm into your rhythm and routine of the day. First, I just want to share with you that many moons ago, I did an in-home daycare, and I used to call these my grab and go items, and they actually were stored in some of these cabinets. I also had some of this stuff stored in like a Tupperware container. So mine's empty right now just because it's all laid out here so I could kind of grab and show you some of the things. But first and foremost, before you start thinking about finding some of this trash that you're going to make treasures for your children, I want you to think about like having a designated space and place of where you're going to have your child do this. And so many times we have like a playroom for our kids where they can play with their toys. But of course, if they're in the playroom and we're trying to work in the kitchen, they keep following us everywhere. So the key is to kind of set up a space where you can be working alongside your child. Because what I have found specifically, especially for toddlers and preschoolers, is they're looking for just proximity. So they don't always have to be like right next to you, although some of our children want us to be right next to them. Sometimes it's just about being in the same room and creating that kind of space. So that is one thing to really take into consideration as you start collecting up some of your items. The other thing that I want you to think about is when I was practicing this with my children, whether it was my home daycare or in a daycare setting, or even in the classroom, there is a level of needing to make sure that we connect with our little ones before we disconnect. And what I mean by that is we want to make sure that like maybe we've met their needs of like doing a meal time. These activities actually can be really great after breakfast or maybe after snack, creating a rhythm or routine, and then decide what you want to call it. You can call it whether you want it to be like a station or a center or a grab and go kind of container. So I want to start off with like something really super simple at first. And I would share with you that most kids, once they are toddling and really walking, they can go ahead and start many of these activities. And you're going to see how you can differentiate some of these things for your different children, different learning type of styles that children have. And I think you'll also see that you'll learn so much about your child and their temperament as you go through some of this as well. A lot of times I can see students who like might struggle and maybe give up. And so sometimes they need a little bit of coaching as you go through this. And the key here is going to be that we're also going to be coaching our children as they're learning and engaging, and they're working on these fine motor skills that are awesome for them and give you a little bit of a break. You don't have to engage with them the whole time. The first one that I want to share with you is just a simple bottle. A couple different things that you can do with this bottle is popsicle sticks are a great thing to just kind of load up, put in to our bottle. I also have, and I also try to keep things super simple. Like I'm not a Pinteresty mom. I don't make things look that cute. I actually literally just put things in little boxes and containers that are easy to store. These straws I just took and I cut so we can have our kids pop them in to the container. If you would, you can always take a drill a hole, and then your children can drop the straw through that hole there as well. So there's different ways to utilize that. Now with the straws, I want to share a really great fine motor activity with toddlers. This can keep them nice and busy. Where'd my Q-tips go? Oh, all this trash. I lost my Q-tips. Oh, here they are. So I want to show you. This is like just a really great activity. And again, I'm going to designate this is my like kitchen workspace, or I may also take my like vinyl tablecloth and or a shower curtain and create a designated space where this is taking place. That way our kids know that when we set this up, this is where we're going to do the work that they're doing. And so a really awesome, easy idea is to take the Q-tip, put it through the straw, and they make like little sushi rolls. And they can create a couple of these and then put them onto a container or whatever. And then they could also drop it into a container. You'll see this container here. I've just drilled some holes. I literally look at my recyclables and I think, what can I reuse? How could I repurpose that for many different activities? When I'm in my classroom, these are such great fine motor activities for toddlers. You sit them down at a chair. Some of these activities, like this particular one with the Q-tip and the straw, can really engage a child for like 5, almost 20 minutes. And so you build up stamina as you practice some of these activities. Sometimes it's just about bringing it forward and presenting these materials to them and kind of having them explore. The other thing is to kind of just see how they engage with them. You know, because our kids actually really just want to do whatever we're doing. And when they see these real life things, they're like, I want to do this. I want to be a part of that.
I was going to interrupt just for 1 second because you may have answered the question. So I am always like, do we model that before, or do we give them a few minutes with it? If it's not engaging them, would you then sit with them and maybe show them how you thread those Q-tips through there if they didn't pick up on that?
That's a great question. That's where I would kind of like put it out, and you can ask your child. Like, I love a leading question like, what could you do with that?
Yeah.
Kind of leave it open-ended and just kind of see what they do. And sometimes I will say, oh, you know what we're going to do today? Today we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this Q-tip into the straw. Now, here's the challenging part I find for parents and myself too as a teacher sometimes, because it's like, look, I could just do it. But our kids are going to struggle because this is not easy work for them.
Yeah.
That's the part where sometimes if we can let them sit with the trash, it's learning for them, it's engaging for them.
Okay. So, because I remember I was a kindergarten teacher, and I do remember that when we put out manipulatives that we'd be using in math that day, I often gave it to them in the morning as they were coming in so they could kind of get it out of their system and play it with them for a little bit. So I like that idea of just letting them be with it, seeing how they engage, and then maybe doing some guiding. Doing. Okay. Okay.
And I think guiding just gently, you know, kind of depends on your child again and kind of what the purpose is of your activity. Like if you're getting ready to cook dinner, like, let me show you and guide you, sit with you.
So I can leave then. Yeah.
Then now I can be like, oh, great job. I'm going to watch you as I'm cooking dinner. I'm making lunch. I'm going to go feed your new baby brother or sister. And so now you're kind of engaged and you kind of leave them there with someone. That makes sense. Thank you. That's a great question. And again, I don't think that there's a right or wrong answer. You know, I think that parents are really like your child's best teacher, and you're going to kind of know what to do and what to say. But I will say, As a teacher, one of the things that we learn to do is to kind of do a pause. Where you jump in, just kind of pause and just kind of observe and see what your child is doing, so they could kind of like figure it out and become a problem solver for some of them. I'm going to share with you like another favorite thing, and this will kind of be like a good one to kind of differentiate. And again, none of this is like rocket science. I know some people are like, what? I have this? I can't believe it's like a treasure. So for like younger toddlers, they're going to probably really just love putting popsicle sticks in there or the straws. I do like popsicle sticks for the mere fact of like sometimes we can cut a little slit into the jug, and now it becomes this fine motor activity that they have to like push in. And this is going to help them with like writing down the road. And then sometimes they're trying to figure out how do I get it out of here? So then they really have to troubleshoot and figure out how to untwist and twist this on. And the cap alone can be an activity for kids. Sometimes we forget like the basics, like our kids love just like a cardboard box. They might love like a clean jug to kind of put things into. This right here, we'll share. This is another great container. It also stores great things. You have a lid where again, you could put little holes into it or slits. That is great. Oatmeal containers. This one here, what's interesting about the size of this container is that my popsicle stick will stick out. So now we can think backwards, and now they have to try to pull it out. And sometimes we're going to notice our kids get frustrated with this learning. And that's the part where sometimes asking them and saying, show me how you try again. Can you do that one more time? Show me how you try again. You know, and maybe we start a little bit of it. And even as I pull this out, it's kind of tight. I can get kids, toddlers, to sit when I would do this. I could get them for like 15 to 20 minutes of like just quiet time. Like they're sitting engaged and doing this kind of work. Again, it's them doing the work and me setting them up for success by creating a designated space. Like this is where we do our popsicle sticks. This is where we're going to do, maybe we have some pipe cleaners we cut up that we can put in there. I was looking at what kind of office supplies I have. I have these little erasers. This would be something totally different outside of the toys that our kids normally play with. It's taking the things, because again, they see the real things that we have, and maybe they put these in to the little container and they're putting it in, sorting. Sometimes we can take our muffin pans and you can put in just like a colored piece of construction paper. They could do a little bit of a sorting activity. This is really great for whatever toys they want to go collect up around the house. You can have them go on a treasure hunt with the pie tin. It's just a different collecting item to kind of help them sort. Go find things of the different color. This is great for older kiddos. Preschoolers, you can send them on a color hunt with just a little cupcake tin. Behind me, I have some of my different lentils, black beans, rice, Cheerios, all that kind of stuff. Again, putting things in, sorting, and exploring. It's amazing how like when we take like our pots and pans and allow our children to use them, they'll kind of find a different purpose for it. I found this Pringles container. We're kind of going off kilter with our diet these days as we're staying home. But this one here, I cut a bigger hole. You know those little squeeze pouches with the lids? The lids are really, I don't have any squeeze pouches. But you know the top lid, that makes a great manipulative. That could color sort. It would be great to put into your cupcake pan. And again, it just makes a fun sound as they're going through. Kids are going to want to take the lid on and off. That again is that skill set that they can be working on. Somewhere along the house, you might have the wonderful Diaper Wipe Box. And so then just learning this right here of the opening and closing and having them go find some toys. I grabbed just a couple like little toys that are like little connection pieces, but kids can just find their toy and pop it right into that container. So sometimes we have these like containers in our recycle bins, and we don't even like think about the different ways that they might be able to use it. The beautiful thing, especially for those who are here in North Carolina and the weather has been so great, is using creamer bottles. So this creamer bottle right now is being purposed for my sunflower seeds, but these were a hot commodity at our pool. So when I would show up with my daycare kiddos, we would go to the pool and everybody wanted one of our creamer bottles and Gatorade bottles. They're awesome for pouring in a water table. And so sometimes we forget about these simple things. And this is something too, you can set up a water station right at your sink. That can oftentimes, again, give you another 15 to 20 minutes of just some alone time. So I hope that this is starting to encourage and maybe inspire you as you're looking at some of the things around your house. This is great for water play. Again, if I wanted to, I could drop sticks, I could put in pipe cleaners, and I also have cotton balls. I love cotton balls to be able to have them. This is a great activity for 1 and 2 year olds for them to just drop in. They could make their snowman and bowl their snowman away once they make them, so they can put in as many cotton balls and then do some bowling with this. It kind of turns into a craft that they end up having. And then of course you can go ahead and reuse some of these things. You might have to fish it out. However, Catherine, I think you have a 3-year-old. That would be a great activity to kind of have her have to try to figure out, how do I fish it out? And maybe seeing if they can use the tools to kind of make some of this happen. Maybe they would take a popsicle stick and pull it out. One thing I do want to share is you don't want to kind of have all of this out at one time. I would kind of set up like a little bit of a center, like maybe you would bring in like the bottle and maybe one manipulative and kind of see how your child engages and plays with that. And kind of go from there. With this too, if you have any junk mail, magazines, this is a great skill for them. Again, a lot of this is all fine motor. So just ripping, and then they can squeeze it together, drop it in there, and encourage them to say, can you fill it up to the top? We'll give them a goal to work towards. And they could do this. Again, super easy for me. A 1 and 2 year old, not the easiest. It's going to take them some time. And maybe it's not something that they sit down and do all in one sitting. Be like, let's do a little bit today. And maybe we start together. And then our child has some time to do it on their own. But again, this is sometimes like a quick grab and go to give you a little bit of time, a little bit of sanity, a little bit of a break from your child instead of feeling like you have to do something with them at all times. I want to share my little milk jug that you can open up for like a man-made little basket to go outside and collect some treasures. As we're social distancing right now, maybe we can go in the garden and find some good rocks, pretty weeds, some pretty flowers, things of that nature. You getting some questions, Catherine?
No, I was just typing back and forth. I told you guys that one of my friends from Charlotte had chimed in, and she just said, how timely. These are so awesome, is what she said. This is awesome, definitely timely. But awesome. I'm kicking myself. I'm going to be digging through our recycling tonight, because we mow through the milk gallons in our house right now. And yeah, that's a good one. I actually used to use, I have to add, we used to do that when I taught kindergarten, and we would do it on an egg hunt.
Yes.
So instead of hunting rocks, I need to go dig out my plastic eggs.
Have
You,
eggs.
I beat you. Sorry, I'm muting.
No, it's all good. Yeah, you can totally do egg hunts with your kids. Break it out, because look, we're social distancing. Who knows how many egg hunts we're going to be able to have? So you can start having your egg hunt right now. And, you can put Cheerios in here, go hide them around the yard. And that right there, you just sit down and relax and you're doing work and your child going to find some eggs. Um, you can also paint these. You know what I mean? Like, so you can have some fun and like decorate it up that way. If you have older kiddos with stickers, just sticker it up and have a good time. So my goal here is not to like send you to Pinterest and find like just whatever, like take a look at this piece of trash and say, how many different ways can I use this? What can we add to some of these things? And when we allow our child to actually personalize it with stickers, it makes it their own and it's super personal for them and they love it even more. I know my kiddos in their daycare, they were kind of sad when all their jugs were broken because we used them so much and we had them for like probably a good few months before we were done with them. And then no harm, no foul, right? I just throw this in the recycle and trash and no feelings are hurt. I don't have to store it. I also have my egg container. So again, a great place to put your Easter eggs. You could put different kinds of beans and pasta in these just to kind of get them thinking. Again, while we think it's pretty easy, let me put my trash down here. While we think it's pretty easy to open an egg, this is kind of a skill for like a 1 and a 2-year-old. Maybe 3-year-olds might get it, depending on how hard it might be. Again, they might put little treasures. You can send them to go put toys in their egg and they can set up an egg hunt for a sibling, especially in the case of like a preschooler and a toddler. So just kind of thinking about ways to kind of connect and work together. I will share with you that I really try to like, when I set things up for my kiddos, I'm like, they're 1, they're 2, 3 or 4, however old. And I'm like, I don't have more than like 5 minutes to put into this. So that's kind of where this comes from. I want it to be quick and easy. So, but once you kind of get your materials, you'll find that like you can repurpose them. I want to just bring in my, what is this, Parmesan Shaker. Again, I love it because it has the holes so I can put in something smaller. Again, kids love straws. They really love the straws to put in. They can put the Q-tips in and then they also figure out how to open and shut this. Sometimes that's where they spend the most of their time. So don't be surprised. I mean, like, because it's literally like you give them a cardboard box and they're gonna be like, but I love this. And I really do believe like teach them to be fishers of men and like open it for themselves. So to me, I'm like, teach them the skills so they can do it. With the box here, I will share with you 1-year-olds, they struggle with this, but once they discover it right there, again, 15 to 20 minutes. Again, it's not going to happen overnight all in one sitting, but I think as you start to play and practice with your kiddos, they'll kind of get the hang of some of this. I want to see if anyone has any of these awesome old CDs that no one uses. So these are awesome to just kind of like do some like CD sliding. You can stand on them and have a skating party on the carpet. And then the other thing too is because I have so many CDs, I would just throw them all over and then my kids would go on a hunt and put them onto a little thing. If you have like a wooden dowel or something like that, that works a little bit better. We have broken some of these. We don't use CDs anymore. So, but just again, another thing for you to think about when you're thinking outside the box, looking at how you're making some of this trash, great treasures for your little one. Something to help hand-eye coordination is taking like a box, poking some holes and having them drop. They could put maybe paper clip. They could do their straws again. A lot of these things you'll be able to reuse with different containers. So sometimes it's just about introducing a new container and say, hey, can you put the straws into this box? I also like taking cereal box, or you're seeing like all of our favorite snacks in the house, where, I just took a pencil and poked a hole into this. And really, once we do that, more kids are interested in how do I get it out and like putting it in. And it's okay if they crush it or anything like that. It helps, and it just goes right into the recycling can. So I'm going to throw in, again, nothing is out of sorts, mouthwash containers. Sometimes the biggest thing that you might do, this is one of my favorite, all-time favorites, although it's not like a trash, it is like perhaps an Amazon order that you might have. But this was one of my old, when I was like nursing, one of my storage cups for breastfeeding. And so I drilled a hole in it and I made this like our water paint station. So it's great to go outside and paint the sidewalks. But I also like, so this is not a trash to treasure, but this is a great toddler preschooler. I don't know if you know Water Wows. So literally they could paint, and like when it dries and we're all done. And then there's 4 of them on here. So if you had to order something, this would be the one thing, because you could do it in the car, you could do it traveling. Once we have permission to be social, not when we're not social distancing anymore, that would be great to do. But sometimes just to have some like one-on-one, like maybe we're doing some work and our child's sitting right next to us and they could do some safe water painting that way. But you'll see here, my little hole, I literally drilled it nice to kind of create that. And so sometimes you can take that with any of the trash that we have and just kind of drill some holes, make some things fit in there.
I have to say that I like your idea of having the little brush, because we have those water wonder wow things, but the brush, well, our dog has gotten a hold of a couple of them and chewed the brushes of them, but they just don't hold up very well. So I like and I can actually bring life back to those if I added a new paintbrush option, because those are kind of like, we use them, we're kind of over them right now. I had actually ordered from Target the Color Wonders, which are the markers of the same deal as that, because I do know that that can buy me 15 minutes, but I like your idea of bringing new life back. So, and we have just a few more minutes left. So share with us what you will.
Okay, I'm going to give you my last big one. This one's like our indoor sandbox. Okay. So this I feel like is just a must-have for all parents. This is where I would definitely focus on having like your shower curtain or whatnot. And so I don't know if you can even see in here, but this is my colored pasta. And so let's say you don't have time to color pasta. Totally okay, just regular pasta. This is great for younger kiddos, the penny pasta and the bow ties. These are all things that work so well to put into our container. And again, just looking at our different containers, like, do you chew gum? Do you eat Tic Tacs? You know, these are awesome little containers. Kids really like it. Sometimes if you just take the wrapping off of it and just introduce it, like, oh, this is so great. Like, they love these things. I love yogurt cups, because then they could just take like a spoon and scoop it in here. Now, I know there's some mamas who might be kind of concerned about like mess factor, because that was huge for me when I was thinking about any of this. So obviously the pasta is definitely easier for cleanup. And when my kids are playing, I have them playing in that space. So I've already set up and designated this is the space and place where we're going to be taking and playing this. And if they're trying to walk around the house with pasta, or if I were to fill this with rice, like it's all right here. So again, I'm helping them learn the limit, setting some boundaries so then I can keep the space nice and organized. And by having it on the shower curtain or the vinyl, it's easy for pickup. So if anything does accidentally fall out, then I get to just quickly pour it in. And I'm really adamant with my students. And even with when my kiddos were doing this in my house, I was like, yep, pasta stays in the table. Pasta stays in the table. So kind of helping them learn to navigate in this. Some people I've also had at one point a mini kiddie pool where I would set this up. So that was like super easy. So I'd put the box in there so they could kind of freely navigate in that space. Maybe if you have a kiddie pool in your fridge, that might be something great to bring in. But rice and pasta, sometimes dried beans, those are all really great manipulatives. Dried beans go into shaker bottles like this. Just are so much fun. So I really just wanted to kind of share some of these ideas. This is my colored rice shaker for a dance party that you end up creating. I also have some bells that we would dance with. So sometimes just thinking about different ways. I just put some glue. And so these are permanent dance bottles. And so we use them to make music. But it's just a lot of fun to look at the things I have at home. They're super exciting for kids. This is how I've made it through 7 years of doing an in-home daycare. This is how I am able to continue teaching and get encouraged and inspired by kids, because they see this stuff and they're like, oh my gosh, this is the best. And they just stay focused with it. And I just really repurpose things. Like, I think these were formula scoopers.
That's a formula scoop. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I have it and I use it. So I just want you to think about the things you have. Don't buy new toys. And the key here is going to be to rotate it, put these in a special bin. And then you say, oh, would you like to do a center or a station? Would you like to do sticks? And bring it out one at a time so that they can kind of learn and engage. Because otherwise they'll get overwhelmed if you're like, oh my gosh, we're going to the recycling bin or doing it all. Just do one little thing at a time. And I think what you'll find is over a week, if you can build in a 10 to 20 minute chunk in the morning and a 10 to 20 minute chunk in the afternoon, they're also then going to engage with their toys differently, because they're going to, oh, I've missed you. I haven't played with you for a while. And I think that Daria does a great job in her toy class.
Yes, that is all about the rotation, but adding them to the rotation. It's just keeping up with that. It's hard. It's hard right now because we're just in every day. But yesterday, we'll probably, we are thinking about going virtual. And I think that Daria's class that she teaches with the toy rotation could be really helpful right now, because I know yesterday I went in and I had my husband take the kids upstairs for a little bit, and I just went at it and pulled things out, and resorted and rotated things out, and we had a better day today. And probably for many reasons, I feel like it took me a while to get into this groove. It's taken me till Thursday-ish to really get with it, but thank you. This is my whole list of things. Yeah, no, we're going on a color hunt tomorrow. We're getting the Easter eggs out, all the things. But I think it is wise though to keep them in a special spot and not just to put them out and make more mess.
And I know we've got our toilet paper rolls, right? Yeah. So they make great tunnels. Everyone's got their toilet paper. Yeah. So make some slides, make a marble wall. Especially older kiddos. You could
I like that too. Yeah.
That kind of stuff. So, this is great for the elementary and older kiddos where they could be making creations with some of the stuff. So just look at your trash, reevaluate it. I think Daria would say, just organize it, have a space.
No, she would just say not to have but one of these activities out at a time is what her recommendation would be. So if you're doing the noodle bin or the noodle table, that you're doing the noodle table with these scoops and that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
And yeah. So and then
I just kind of vomited all of this on you guys, but I wanted you to just kind of look at the things that you have. How could you repurpose it? And I think if you could take 15 to 30 minutes to kind of be like, let me collect and clean up some bottles, you might be able to create just some peace into your day.
Yeah, no, I'm inspired. I'm inspired to have a better Friday with my littles.
Yay.
Yeah, it's hard, but well, thank you. Irene, I can't thank you enough for jumping on and doing this with us tonight, offering some inspiration, a little distraction from the norm. But yeah, so thank you from the Nurtured Nest. Be on the lookout. I will send this out as a recording. I will post it on our social media. I'll put it on our website. So if you want to share with a friend or on a Facebook page, feel free. And just keep an eye out for the additional minis. So we're gonna do picky eating strategies on Monday. It's up, and then we're gonna have that same gal. She's our speech language pathologist. She's gonna do the ask the feeding specialist, even though that's not really a thing. She's a speech language pathologist, but she's gonna open it up for questions on Wednesday night. So
Super excited.
okay.
Lots of great things going on, Catherine. So thank you.
Yes, and we will return. We're gonna return to some normal classes soon. We're just been a good test this week. So.
This is just an in between, helping us get through.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining, and we'll see you soon. Bye.